Okay, buckle up because today we're diving into a world you probably haven't considered the life of a tobacco products distribution manager.
Yeah, it's a role most people don't think twice about, right?
Exactly.
But someone has to ensure those cigarettes and cigars have a smooth journey from the factory floor to your local convenience store.
Exactly. And I bet it's surprisingly complex when you start to think about that whole process.
Oh, absolutely.
It's more than just moving boxes around.
Definitely not as simple as it sounds.
No. So we've got some insights from RoleCatcher to guide us today.
Right.
What kind of picture are we seeing for this role?
Well, RoleCatcher highlights a couple of key things. Organization, obviously, and logistics.
Makes sense.
But it gets a little more intricate than that. This role demands a solid understanding of transportation networks, inventory management, and, this is interesting, a deep, deep knowledge of the tobacco industry's regulations.
Oh, the regulations. See, that's not something you'd necessarily think of right away.
True, true.
So, paint us a picture here. What does a typical day actually look like for a tobacco products distribution manager?
Right?
I mean, are we talking about warehouses and forklifts, or is it more high-tech than that?
You know, it's funny you should mention forklifts. Think less about that and more about spreadsheets
Okay.
and software.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, warehouse operations are part of it,
Sure.
but much of the role involves coordinating
Coordinating, okay.
with suppliers, retailers, transportation companies, just making sure everything runs smoothly.
So it's like a delicate dance of keeping everyone happy and making sure products get where they need to be
Exactly.
on time, and I imagine within all those regulations as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
That sounds like a lot of pressure.
It can be. It can be a very, very demanding role.
Yeah.
You've got these tight deadlines, managing stock levels, and then staying up to date on all the regulations.
Oh, yeah.
Which are always changing, right?
Right, right.
That's basically a Tuesday for a tobacco products distribution manager.
Wow. I'm already feeling a little stressed on their behalf.
Yeah.
It sounds like they need nerves of steel
Definitely.
and a serious caffeine addiction.
For sure. For sure.
But what about the tech side of things? How's technology changing the game in this industry?
Oh, technology. It's revolutionizing the field.
Okay.
RoleCatcher highlights new inventory management systems.
Yeah.
They're using real-time data. They're using predictive analytics to optimize stock levels.
Wow.
Then you've got sophisticated software to help plan delivery routes, even considering things like traffic patterns and fuel efficiency.
That's incredible.
Right.
It sounds like they're using some seriously high-tech tools to wrangle this complex web of products and deliveries.
Oh, they have to. It's essential.
Wow.
And it doesn't even stop there.
Oh.
RoleCatcher mentions that they're even exploring blockchain technology
What?
for supply chain transparency.
Wow.
Makes it easier to track those products
Yeah.
and prevent counterfeiting.
Blockchain, that's fascinating. Who knew a pack of cigarettes could have such a high-tech journey?
Right.
It seems like there's this constant need to adapt and stay ahead of the curve in this role.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
A tobacco products distribution manager has to be a lifelong learner, constantly updating their knowledge, learning new technologies, and just staying on top of those evolving industry practices.
It's making me think that maybe this isn't the kind of career you just fall into.
Right.
What does RoleCatcher say about the career path itself?
Okay.
Where do you even start? So you've piqued my curiosity here. Where does one even begin their journey to becoming a tobacco products distribution manager?
Okay.
Is this straight out of high school, or is it more of like a climb up the ladder?
Well, typically it's a progression.
Right.
RoleCatcher lays out some of those steps, and it often starts with an entry-level position, something like a distribution assistant.
Okay, entry level, all right.
Yeah.
So that sounds like getting your hands dirty, literally, in those early stages. What does that involve?
Yeah, it's a lot of, packing and labeling products.
Great.
Maybe managing inventory, but on a smaller scale.
Okay.
And really just becoming familiar with, the warehouse environment, understanding how those goods move around physically.
Right, those foundational skills.
Exactly.
I imagine attention to detail is key at that level.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to mix up your Marlboros and your Newports or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
But how do you move beyond those initial tasks? What's the next rung on the ladder, so to speak?
Well, from there, you might find yourself stepping into like a supervisory role, like a warehouse supervisor.
Okay.
And now you're not just handling the products, you're actually leading a team.
Okay.
overseeing safety protocols, making sure those pallets are moving with military precision.
So this is where those leadership skills really start to come into play.
Yeah.
It's not just about knowing where everything goes, but also about managing the people who make it happen.
Yes.
That's a whole other skill set.
Absolutely, and RoleCatcher talks about this a lot. Those people skills become more and more crucial as you advance.
I can imagine. So we've moved from hands-on logistics to, managing a team. Where does the strategic thinking come in? You mentioned earlier they need to be on top of data and trends.
Right. That's where the role of a distribution coordinator often comes in.
Okay.
This is where, those analytical muscles really get a workout.
Okay, let's talk about those analytical muscles. What does a distribution coordinator actually do?
So they're really like the logistical masterminds behind the scenes.
Right.
They're coordinating transportation, negotiating with those trucking companies, collaborating with sales teams
Wow.
to understand, what the demand is looking like. And then they're really diving deep into those spreadsheets.
Okay.
They're optimizing routes, minimizing costs. It's a high-stakes puzzle.
Wow.
And they're the ones who make sure all the pieces fit.
That sounds incredibly demanding.
It is.
It's like they're conducting an intricate symphony of deliveries and deadlines.
Oh, it's a great way to put it.
Wow.
It requires analytical skills, meticulous planning.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to solve problems. You have to be cool under pressure, especially when, the unexpected happens.
Right.
Like a snowstorm shuts down a major highway.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine the scramble to reroute an entire fleet of trucks on a moment's notice.
Right.
Do people typically pursue, additional education or certifications at this stage?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people will get certified in supply chain management.
Okay.
Some even pursue, master's degrees.
Wow.
RoleCatcher really points out this is about, gaining that competitive edge and really demonstrating a deep understanding of the field.
It makes sense. I mean, they're already coordinating this complex web of moving parts.
Right.
Adding formal education to the mix, I can see how that would just solidify their expertise.
Absolutely.
So after conquering the coordinator level, what's the next step?
Right.
Is it finally time to claim the title of Tobacco Products Distribution Manager?
You got it. This is where it gets really interesting because now you're not just managing those day-to-day operations.
Right.
You're stepping into a leadership role, broader responsibilities.
All right. We've reached the top of the mountain, so to speak.
We made it.
What's waiting for us at the summit? What does a day in the life of a fully fledged tobacco products distribution manager look like?
Okay, so think bigger picture now.
Right.
You're developing those long-term strategies for distribution networks.
Wow.
You're managing budgets, the big budgets,
I bet.
and you're collaborating with other departments, sales, marketing, just making sure everything is aligned.
It's a whole different ballgame at that level.
Right.
You're not just thinking about getting product X from point A to point B. You're thinking about the entire flow of goods across, country.
Maybe even international.
Oh, yeah, you got it. And here's the thing. The buck stops with you.
You're responsible for making sure that those products are reaching the retailers on time, on budget, and in compliance with all the regulations.
Which, knowing this industry, are probably changing all the time.
Constantly.
What does RoleCatcher say about the salary expectations for someone at this level? Because this sounds like a high-pressure, high-responsibility position.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It's not for everyone.
Right.
But the rewards, they
Yeah.
can be significant.
Okay.
RoleCatcher really highlights that strong earning potential for distribution managers,
Okay.
especially for those with, a proven track record of success.
So the financial incentives are there to match the demanding nature of the job.
Exactly.
It seems like there's a real opportunity for growth in this field.
Yeah,
But does it stop at distribution manager, or are there even higher peaks to climb?
that's a great question. There's definitely room for upward mobility.
Okay.
You could go into senior management within a company. You could oversee larger territories. You could even manage multiple distribution centers. Some distribution managers even, transition to executive positions, leveraging all that logistics expertise to shape the broader company strategies.
So you could go from managing the movement of cigarettes to overseeing the entire supply chain for, a major tobacco company.
It's possible.
That's quite a journey.
It is. And what's really interesting is that a lot of the skills you pick up in this role,
Yeah.
they're highly transferable.
Okay.
Even if you decide to explore other opportunities outside of the tobacco industry, that expertise in logistics, supply chain management, and leading a team, that's valuable no matter where you go.
It's like you said earlier, this isn't a field you just fall into. It
No.
takes dedication, a willingness to learn. You got to have a knack for navigating these complex situations.
You get out of clean.
But clearly, the potential rewards are there for those who rise to the challenge.
Oh, for sure. And this is where RoleCatcher's resources are really, really valuable. They're not just telling you about the job. They're giving you the tools and knowledge to really succeed.
Speaking of equipping yourself for success, let's talk about the interview process for a moment, because I have a feeling this isn't your typical tell me about your strengths and weaknesses scenario.
You are absolutely right.
Right.
Interviewing for a role in this industry, especially at the management level,
Yeah.
it requires some really, really careful preparation.
Right.
And honestly, this is another area where RoleCatcher really, really shines.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What kind of insider tips does RoleCatcher provide to help candidates ace those interviews?
Oh, man.
Give us the good stuff. All right, spill the secrets. What kind of curveballs can someone expect in a tobacco products distribution manager interview?
You know, it's not so much about curveballs, but you're right. It's not going to be your typical interview.
Right.
They want to see you think on your feet, how you handle those real-world scenarios.
So less about your favorite color and more about how you'd handle, a late-night delivery snafu
Exactly.
or a sudden shift in demand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher, they do a great job at prepping you with those tougher questions.
Okay.
It's not just the basics, Think about those complex regulations.
Oh, yeah.
Like the PASS-ET Act
Right.
really shook things up for online sales.
Definitely.
How would you handle, say, a supplier issue?
Okay.
Like a production delay that throws off your whole distribution network.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Those are some serious situations. I can see why they wouldn't just throw you to the wolves without some solid prep.
Exactly. And that's where RoleCatcher is so helpful.
Right.
They've, analyzed thousands of these interviews
Wow.
for these specific roles and distilled down those key themes, the tough questions, even the little nuances that you really need to be aware of.
It's like having a secret weapon going into battle, especially in such a, niche field like this.
Right.
Where the stakes are high, the competition's fierce.
Absolutely.
So besides, the interview prep, what else does RoleCatcher offer to actually help people land their dream job?
Well, remember those transferable skills we were talking about?
Right, right.
They actually have tools to help you figure out what those are and how to really sell those skills.
Okay.
They have this cool feature called the Career Compass.
Yeah.
It basically maps out those potential career transitions
Wow.
based on what you already bring to the table.
Okay, that's huge.
Yeah.
So even someone with a background in, say, event planning,
Yeah,
they could potentially leverage their skills
exactly.
in logistics and coordination
You got it.
and make that move into distribution management.
RoleCatcher will help you connect those dots.
That's amazing.
They've also got this fantastic resume and cover letter builder.
Okay.
Uses AI, actually, to tailor your application
Wow.
to that specific role you're going for.
It sounds like they've really thought of everything.
They've done their homework.
It's like having a whole team of career coaches and advisors just in your back pocket,
Right there with you.
guiding you every step of the way. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from, unpacking the day-to-day of being a tobacco products distribution manager
We really have.
to exploring those skills and strategies you need to succeed in this field.
A lot of great information.
And this field is always evolving, right?
Absolutely.
It's been fascinating, and I think it just shows how even industries we might not think about every day can offer these amazing opportunities.
Totally agree.
For anyone listening who might be feeling a little stuck, maybe a little curious about exploring new career paths, I highly encourage you to check out RoleCatcher.
I second that.
They are going above and beyond to empower job seekers and give them the tools and insights they need to navigate this crazy job market.
For sure.
Until next time, keep exploring those possibilities. And remember, your dream career might be just around the corner, even if it's in an industry you never expected.